everything. Good evening, folks. Welcome to our season finale in the show of, the Board of Directors, Ramp Guard of Alaska. This is our last meeting and it's happening on July 11th. Yay, we're already in July. We're almost at the end. All right. So, calling it to order. In attendance, we have myself as CEO, Christopher Start. We got Logan Thornton representing Ravenstone, Michelle Casey from Loop and Moon, and Cameron Taylor as the Secretary-Treasurer. Sorry, deleting people that I had extra in the list. Did I miss anybody?
I don't know.
What? Did I? Oh, that's what happened, because you missed the last BoD meeting, and so I purged you from my list. We also have Douglas Dowes from Astral Winds.
Did I miss that one?
I think you were late or something. Like you had to do a call out. Yeah. So, anyways. So, call to order, 8:07 p.m. First item of the agenda. Previous meetings minutes from June 20th. 2019. Has everybody had a chance to look at those minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right, let's just run straight down the list. Does everybody accept those meeting minutes? Cameron, yay, nay?
Yes.
Doug?
Yay.
Logan?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Cool, I do too. Bam. So we've all looked at the thingy, and we all approve that. And the next item on the agenda is the Secretary-Treasurer report from Cameron. So you have the floor.
Okay, so from last time we were talking about Palmer business licenses and verifying that $25 was the correct amount for an annual license versus the state fair license also being $25. That is definitely correct. Depending on the size of the business, with ours, of course, being the smallest size that they have specifications for, there are different reporting requirements. Like if you make $250,000 a year or more, if you have an annual license, you have to file sales taxes every month with an annual license. But with a state fair license, if that's the only business you do in Palmer, you just have to file the taxes the one time. That's probably the reason for the trade-off on that one, so that businesses from outside of Palmer can do business at the state fair, file one tax return, and be done with it, versus having to file taxes every month when they only do business at the state fair. Beyond that, this past period, I've been busy with more prime minister type record keeping than secretary treasurer type record keeping, with all the letters of intent and elections coming up and whatnot. So I don't really have any other financial type reporting to do. So that's what I've got for today.
Okay, cool. So we're set up with the annual license going forward, and that is that through a calendar year 2019, or is it a fiscal year?
That's calendar year.
Calendar year, cool. So we're good for the Alaska State Fair in August. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. So the last thing that I'm gonna ninja add to the agenda is I've mentioned this to you guys in the past, but as soon as we have the list of incoming folks, we're gonna do a little online record keeping, and we'll have a little official vote internally to get the ownership of the organization transferred, as far as like all the paperwork with the state of Alaska. So we'll have that business stuff taken care of as soon as we can. I'm hoping to have that filed and submitted before Wolf's Cry. So between when the announcements are done and when, right after voting is completed, the announcements made about who won and who's coming on board, and before they actually have to start doing stuff on, after Wolf's Cry. So just a little public notice there that we're trying to get ahead of things, because that was a little issue for us as we got on board and tried to get paperwork taken care of. So we're going to try to get ahead of it. And hopefully that can be a thing going forward, that before coronations, that we can get that kind of paperwork all taken care of ahead of time. All right, that's the last thing I had. Does anybody have any other business they want to add to the agenda for tonight? Nope. I'm just seeing stares and head shakes. Does anybody want to make a motion to... Oh, come on, guys. I'm supposed to finish my sentence on that one.
Adjourn. I motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Doug.
I'll second that.
And Michelle seconds. Cool. Cameron, yay, nay on adjourning.
Yes.
We're lost.
Doug.
Yay.
Logan?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I also agree. So 8:12 p.m. Thanks, folks. We had a 5-minute meeting. Cool. Closing out that file. Welcome to the season finale of the Council of Crowns meetings. All right, Gorin is not here with us, so we'll circle back to that one. The next item on my agenda for tonight is pre-authorizing. Basically, there's a scenario where we're hoping that there's going to be a lot of attendance at Wolf's Cry this year, and in the event that we sell all of our alcohol, we want to be above board and have pre-authorization from the COC to go out and spend some of that money to get more alcohol to sell to folks for more profit. So the question before you guys is, if we blow through all of our supply of alcohol, are we allowing them to spend more money to go get more of it so we can sell more? So Doug, yay or nay on that? Or do you guys have any discussion or questions? Sorry, I pluralized the wrong thing. Any issues? Oh, and I'm getting called out for calling it a season finale. Thanks, Jack. All right, so let's just do this vote. Doug, yay or nay on giving them the authorization to spend more money and sell more alcohol?
Yay.
Yay. Logan?
Yes.
Michelle?
Sure.
Okay. So, and I say yes as well. So, unanimous.
God.
Yes. All right. Next item on the agenda. So we have a candidate who is trying to run for regional monarch in Frozen Coast in Kenai. And due to a work scheduling issue, they will not be able to physically attend the Crown Qualifications event this Sunday. And their ANS portion of Crown Qualifications will be submitted, and hopefully that process goes smoothly for them. But they are contacting me because in the admin manual in Corpora, there is no longer a portion that anybody can find. So if anybody can find it real fast, send me a message or point it out to me about alternatives for the combat participation portion of Crown Qualifications. I think we all remember back in the day when there was some line saying something akin to, you could have somebody fight in your name, or you could just have that waived in some way, but there's no such lines that any of us can find currently. And so I bring this before you guys as, are we willing to waive the combat tournament component of his Crown Qualifications? And this would specifically be for Garrett Eady, also known as Lucian. And he's running for the uncontested otherwise for the position of Monarch of Frozen Coast. Unless I messed that up. Cameron, do you want to correct me? Did I get all of that right?
I think you've got it all right.
Cool. Any questions, concerns, discussion about that?
I really don't have a problem with it. I don't see it really as an issue, and we should probably, Mara should probably look at making some adjustments to the corpora to have some kind of exception there, not just for this, but I mean for somebody who's physically unable to compete, because I don't think it's anybody's intent to be exclusive to something like that. And there's no language for it right now, so different issue, but still.
Right. And the sad part is that we all expected it to be a thing, and we even all mentally had a process of how it would go. And then we realized, wait, that's not even what's in the book anymore. So something happened, and we should probably fix that. So I'll just throw this straight to a vote. Doug, Yay or nay on excusing him from the combat component of the crown qualifications?
Yay.
Yay. Logan?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, and I will also say yes. So we have a unanimous yes. Alrighty, so next item. We have one bid that was submitted for Wolf's Cry 2020, and that came in from Kraken. Thank you, Kraken, for getting that to us. And I know you and I kind of worked on it. You were really ahead of the game and jumping on top of it. Have you guys had a chance to look at that file? And in particular, the letter at the beginning, because that's something I want to discuss as well.
I think I did, but I don't remember it.
Okay,
I looked at it
so
a while ago.
the main highlight of the letter was that Kraken was working very hard on trying to get a solid and complete bid to us. And so in doing that, he was discussing with various folks the subcrats, basically, all the assistants that he would have. And the issue kept coming up that people weren't willing to commit this far out. We're talking over a year out, and people weren't willing to make those commitments that far. And so he got, I think, nobody, if I remember right, lined up for any of those sub-positions. So we're looking at it as a very tentative, sketchy framework under which he's going to operate. And I think that's just one of the risks and issues that we're having by assigning these autocrats out so far in advance. I mean, I want to give him props and almost want to hand it to him just because, he's the only one that submitted it and he's following the process and trying his hardest. But at the same time, I'm like, is that almost a disservice to him as well to lock him in and, this far out when he's having a hard time finding folks. So I don't know. Discussion. Do you guys have thoughts on that?
I was actually just discussing this with somebody a couple of days ago, and the way I look at it, if you have competing bids and one of them has a set of crats assigned and committed and it looks good and everything, and the other doesn't, that's definitely telling in favor of the one that has the commitments. But dealing this far out, I can't say as I can hold it against anybody to not have people nailed down for it. And I know he went around and he asked a lot of people. He talked to me and talked to a number of others who mentioned it, and he certainly did his diligence going around and asking people to be involved.
Yeah.
So I don't.
He asked me to do Feastocrat.
Yeah, he asked me for
But
Autocrat,
like others, right now I can't commit to that so far ahead because I don't know where I'm going to be that far ahead.
So I guess what I'm getting at is it's not a failure on his part. I don't believe that he doesn't have crats. I don't think it's like he just couldn't be bothered to ask people, because I know he asked people.
Oh yeah,
so,
I agree. He absolutely was asking people, chasing folks down.
So I don't see it as a mark against him necessarily.
Do we want to talk about anything else in the bid? Do we have any questions for him? I know this was a tip that I gave him, so I know it's in there. I appreciated that there was some tax included in the estimates of stuff.
The 3.5%, whatever
right,
it is.
Right.
Does the food permit fall under food, or because I know we just were dealing with
I think
that.
it would be administration or administrative stuff, wouldn't it?
I'd personally put it under administration.
Just asking, since the bar
food
permit's broken out separately.
$65. So. The food permit's cheap in comparison to everything else.
Yeah. Do we really spend $1,000 on prizes at Wolf's Cries?
That was a line that I was a little fuzzy about. I don't know. I have not. I have not. Spent that kind of money out of a budget that would have been given to an autocrat. You know what I mean? Like I'm spending money on things, but it has nothing to do with the autocrat's budget.
Right, that's a kingdom thing. It's outside the scope of the event, and because it's for things like titles or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That stands out to me because like I've seen prizes given out, and I don't think I've seen anything that looks like it would come to 1,000. And like running the war events this time around, like I don't think I have enough contests to do it, but I didn't handle the prizes myself, so.
Well, we could put that as a stipulation, as a question for clarification. Even if we could approve it tentatively and say, hey, you need to explain this line if we wanted to do that. Also, given that it's a year out, we don't necessarily have to, approve it tonight. That could be, one of the first items. I'd like to be able to announce it at Wolf's Cry, because that was the idea, is that we could announce the following year's Autocrat, so that they can receive feedback from the current event. I think that was one of the dreams. So, but that, if it doesn't work out, we're working towards this. I don't think this is something that we, have to suddenly have 100% either. We're getting better. I think this year we actually did really good. We have a lot of Autocrats set out way ahead of time. So I'm opening up another tab.
I don't really see anything else that looks, that raises any questions for me. It looks, very, very straightforward, very Wolf's Cry, which, Wolf's Cry is a pretty full event, so I don't think there's that much deviation.
Okay. Let's do a vote on assigning it to him then. Or hold off. Do we want to have that? Are we super worried about that? Where is that line? Was it awards, prizes? How did he have it labeled?
Prizes.
Prizes. Some dollars for prizes.
Okay. I would suggest that we say yes and give it to him, except for the prizes thing, and make him explain that. And then that can be just, basically, yes, start your planning, but that's going to need some explanation and approval from the COC.
Do we set anything in stone when we accept a bid? Because, I'm sure that there's got to be some ability for the council in the future to change the CRAT and to do like that. So I don't know that it causes any real problems,
Yeah, no, we're not really setting in stone, other than when we assign a CRAT, we give them the authority to start making decisions on stuff up until the COC can at any point remove the CRAT or give extra specifications for running the event. So
yeah,
if he
and there's no
got the CRAT
bids.
Yeah, there's no competing bids, and the only weird thing is if he got the, we said, hey, yes, you get it, and then he instantly spent the $1,000 on the prizes, which I just don't foresee happening. If he got it before we could say, hey, now.
So with all of that in mind, I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, quick bit of input here. I'm not looking at the bid at the moment. So I don't know if prizes is distinct from like awards in this case. With a quick look at last year's Wolf's Cry, prizes and awards came out to $836.69. Just what I've found in in 3 minutes of looking. So
if it includes the awards, that makes plenty of sense to me, because we all remember what it was like last year when Gorin just kept pulling stuff out of that shelf and toaster ovens,
toasters,
and everything. Right? It was amazing. It's fantastic, but but that makes sense if it includes awards, which, as far as I understand, is generally separate. But yeah.
Okay, so let's do a vote to approve him as the Autocrat. Doug, yay or nay?
Yay.
Oh, I have Kraken in a thing. He says the 1,000 is for prizes and awards.
Okay, so we might help him edit that, because that'll come from a different line item in the budget. That'll come from a different budget source. effectively, so it won't be something he'll necessarily have to think about as an autocrat, but like, we can work with him.
I will be
so.
right back. Kraken's at the door delivering his vintner's entry.
Tell him that he can deliver that to my house when I'm not on call.
Should have come down to be a judge.
I'm on call. I can't leave Fairbanks.
I mean, you could. You shouldn't, but you could.
Just got to get back real fast if it comes up.
I have a 2-hour minimum response time.
Wouldn't it be maximum?
Private plane, it'll do that.
Maximum.
Maximum. Minimum. It's like I can't show up for at least 2 hours. Sorry. You're standing in my doorway. Alright. Okay, so let's start over. Give Michelle a second to get her. Okay. So Doug, yay or nay on giving Kraken Wolf's Cry 2020?
Yay.
Yay. Logan.
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes.
I'll give him a yes. So, Kraken, congrats. You will be I hit the wrong button. You will be the autocrat for Wolf's Cry 2020, unless of course you move out of state faster than you think you were going to, because I did ask him that. Alrighty. Moving on. Hey, we have Kingdom Crown Quals. Well, okay, we have Crown Quals across the state this weekend, by the way, people, for all of you running for positions.
I noticed.
So, if this is your first notice, I am sorry, because you have a very busy day ahead of you tomorrow, if you think you're going to pass. But otherwise, for everybody else, check out those pre-registration forms that are appropriate for wherever you're submitting your stuff. Check out my post on the Kingdom Facebook page. It has some extra little tidbits, and I really highly recommend having the item cards, whether those are just printed out pieces of paper or, you know, index cards or something with some extra info, so that you can, you know, flurb it up for all of your entries. I think that's really an easy way to boost your entries. But check out my post. It has all the times, information, details about the ANS portions coming up for Sunday's Kingdom Crown Call event. And again, for those that might have somehow missed it, it's happening at Ravenstone on Sunday, July 14th. That will be the Kingdom, the statewide version of all the Crown Calls. And we'll probably have a nifty little tournament happening simultaneously. So Dennis, or Sind, has actually volunteered. Volunteered/voluntold. He's going to be running the combat portion of the tournament for me. I'll be helping him manage that. But I think he'll do a solid job, and we have a plan, and we're following what was outlined already. So there will be an Ironman portion to each tournament, and then followed by an 8-person bracket tournament. So check out online, find those posts. I will probably tomorrow try to make another fresh post to get people jazzed up about that. And in all of the regions, there will otherwise also be their localized, their regionalized crown qualifications. So Lupin Moon is happening on Saturday. Astral Winds is happening on Saturday, right, Doug? Stay tuned for folks that are in Fairbanks, because I hear the weather is horrible. Like, you know, you're all getting black lung up there. So pay attention. Doug will try to inform you. Puppet will try to inform you if there's any changes to locales or anything like that. And then Frozen Coast is doing their Crown Quals on Sunday as well. And I believe Aislinn is hosting or running those. Last I heard.
That would be my guess. She's been posting all the information.
Right. I think Aislinn's stepping up and doing that. So thank you so much for running those Crown Quals. Get with her if you have any questions. That's happening on Sunday. And that pretty much covers it. So then elections are the following weekend, July 20th and 21st. So once everybody, passes their crown qualifications, once everybody passes their crown quals, they will get to vote on those folks on July 20th and 21st at your normal meeting times. Wolf's Cry is the next weekend, holy smokes. and we get to do a bunch of cool things, give out a lot of big awards, have really awesome, huge battle games, and Guild Wars. And all that's happening at Wolfscry. And that's July 26th through 28th. And just as a reminder for those that are really into this sort of thing, we're scheduling a BoD and CoC meeting for Sunday morning, kind of intermingled with the leadership conference. So that's Sunday morning, July 28th. I'm tentatively saying 10 a.m., but plus or minus, 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how, things go for folks and when they actually show up. So if you are an incoming officer, I highly suggest that you make it to this meeting, that you show up. I believe 9 a.m. is kind of the scheduled general time for when leadership stuff tends to start on Sunday mornings, for that kind of onboarding process. Oh, and I totally skipped something. But that was it for the meetings. So Sunday morning, be prepared for the first BoD and CoC meeting for those folks. All right, one little process change that I'm pretty certain we are solid on, and Cameron and I will, hopefully you'll back me up on this. All of those that are running for offices at your Kingdom Crown Quals at your Crown Quals this weekend, or shortly after if you don't make it physically to your event, please sign and work with your prime ministers to sign the affidavits of office. We're making that as a component of the process so that we can do the next stage of things, which is once everybody votes and all that stuff is done, then we can do the legal stuff once we have all that taken care of. So we're trying to shift this towards being part of the process for crown qualifications, that you'll sign the affidavit of office. Does that sound right, Cameron? Is that what we settled on?
That's what we decided we should do. Not so much that we were going to do it this time, but I can make sure that those are on hand, at least for the.
I mean, it's a simple enough form.
My neighborhood.
Right,
Yeah.
and I mean I can print out a handful of them, and I'll try to bring them with me on Sunday. Hopefully I can remember to do that tomorrow. I'll print off a bunch of them so we're set for everybody that attends Kingdom Crown Quals. But if you are an incoming officer, you're running for a position, and this is top 5. We don't have guildmasters sign these, right? I don't think we do. Yeah.
No.
So, but for all top 5 members and heir apparent, right?
Well, it's more optional for heir apparent, just as a matter of since we're having them learn all the stuff anyway. Include that also. Not so much that it's a required thing, but yes, we've just had it done just to do it.
Okay. But for all those in the top 5 positions, affidavits of office. Traditionally, we've been signing them right when you take office or the Sunday morning after, but we're trying to change it a little bit, and we're going to try to get those done a little earlier. So ask around in your local park if you don't remember signing one and you're running for an office. Alrighty. And they do renew every time that you go for an office. So even if you signed one for this reign and you are, running again, you should sign a fresh one. All right. That is all the items I had for the... Sorry, was somebody trying to say something? Nope. Okay. It's just Doug shuffling. All right. Does anybody have any other things that they want to add to the public side of the CoC meeting? Nope. Okay. Getting a lot of... Alrighty. Thanks, guys. And I'm going to end the meeting here. So have a good night. Thanks for watching.